So it has been half a year, which is like 6 months, since Enfield has been unleashed to the public, and the half anniversary patch has just been out for like a week or two. And it's about that time to review the game once again. So the topic of today's video is going to be whether or not is Enfield still worth playing after 6 months or right now if you're watching this. And how has the game sort of evolved and changed throughout the time. So Enfield was released in like January 20 something, and today we're at mid-July. And one thing I could say is that this game definitely changed a lot compared to when it's first launched. I've covered Enfield everything since launch, mostly for like guides and character builds and stuff. So altogether, there has been like a few versions. There's 1.0, the launch version, which actually had like 3 banners. Then it was 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and right now we're in the phase 1 of 1.4, slowly moving into the second phase. So let's start with the launch of the game during Enfield. Let's talk about Enfield launch phase. Back in January, everyone was very excited for the game. There was a lot of expectations, a lot of like footage. Previously, this game was like teased. And then there was just no news for like a long time. And then it finally dropped in like January 2026, making everyone very excited. One unique gameplay of this game was the factory gameplay, and that also generated a lot of like discussion about it. Other than that, the characters are all pretty appealing. I wouldn't say they're absolutely very popular compared to like Hoyoverse or Wuthering Waves, but they are very nice characters. A lot of those contain like references from like the original Arknights, which really help gain some initial popularity. They also have the world and the story. Now, to be honest, I don't think the world like setting is very like popular or attractive. I think people just kind of tolerate it, especially for like Valley 4. It looks like an empty wasteland with some like sci-fi elements to it. Now, of course, if you play the original Arknights, you would definitely like a thing or two from it. But for like the casual audience, the world building is just, it is one of the world building of all time. And launch experience, everyone likes it. The only major problem was just the PayPal bug that like when you enter in your PayPal information, you might accidentally get scammed. But all of those got refunded and resolved fairly quickly. There was no like massive bugs or optimization issue. Things like Wuthering Waves have experienced. Overall, it worked out. I think I also made like a lot of videos during Enfield launch. And I think it was just everywhere. It was just on every like VTuber stream, every marketing, New York billboard, whatever, on every single advertisement space on Earth, you will see this game. And you might be thinking that if you miss out on this game during the launch, maybe it's not really worth to come into this game anymore. Keep watching and you'll see whether or not you should get into the game. But for now, the game had a pretty good launch. That's all you need to know. And I also remember their first like 3 character. So for the first version, it's like a bit special. They had like 3 phase banner. But like the banner, it's not like 20 days. It was like a little bit shorter than that. So it's like one version with like 3 character phases. And you know, this is a gacha game, so characters are kind of like the main bread and butter of gacha game content. And the first 3 characters are all pretty popular, such as Levitain, Gilberta, Yvonne. Yvonne, I would say, is my favorite and also relatively popular. Don't know if she's the most popular, but Levitain is also like a close neck and neck with her. Gilberta, I feel like she's not too popular mainstream, but she makes up for it for being a very versatile and super broken support. That kind of make up for her popularity and just made her a very meta popular character in Enfield specifically. And when Enfield launched, it is quite special because it's not from Hoyoverse, it's not from Kuro Games. This was before like NTE and all the other gachas coming soon that's gonna come in the dance floor. And I'm especially talking about like an open world gacha game 3D that has like a mainstream target audience. The only major roadblock for people would be the factory gameplay. A lot of people would comment that the factory gameplay is kind of boring. They don't feel like it. And most of the people that stuck with it just copied blueprints from YouTube or other people or whatever. For me, I would say the factory gameplay is kind of fun. It's fun when you first experience it. You do a bit of this, do a bit of that. But like eventually when they do updates and then they add new things, and by that point, usually I already forgotten everything about what I learned, so I just try it out, follow the tutorial a bit, and then after that I just delete everything and then just copy a blueprint, and that's how you play the factory in this game. So everyone has a different experience with the factory, but most people are not too big of a fan of it. So I suggest like making like copying blueprints like a bit easier. Maybe let people just like search for the blueprints inside the game instead of having to go to YouTube or like Google it to find their blueprints for their like region code. Because usually if you're searching on YouTube, it's not going to be available in like every single region. They need to like copy it to other region. So just let people search for the region, search for the blueprints inside the game, and then just click like, and then maybe the first one comes up is a Wuling base, and then they just have to click apply, and then they just have a free optimal factory for them. I know this might be like optimizing the game away, but it is like a really good way to help casuals get into the game without going nuts over the damn factory. So that is the 1.0 experience. The only other major criticism was that Valley 4's story was a bit boring, even though the cutscene and all that was really good. So there's that. And also the story kind of picked up a bit during Wuling, and ever since Wuling the story has been pretty good. And I also heard that they updated the game to make you be able to just skip to Wuling at a certain point and not have to play like Valley 4 or something. I think they took that like Valley 4 boring criticism and really just overfix it a bit. But other than that, the game is pretty good. One more thing that gained a lot of like discussion was the Enfield gacha system. Now this is a whole new discussion. I think I made like 10 videos on the Enfield gacha system at this point. But in summary, the Enfield gacha system, it has no like guarantee. The PD doesn't carry over, but the guarantee is like way lower, so it's like it's better for like unlucky people. Won't have to explain everything, but like some people like it, some people hate it, but most of the people are able to work with it and think it's an overall net positive. Like for me, I'm a complete free to play, and I have every single character in this game except for Rosie, because I got like a bit unlucky or lucky at the same time, and then got like the previous characters that I like did not really want, because you can like lose to a previous character in your 50-50. So Enfield gacha system still like a point of contention. So for me overall, the gacha system is a net positive because the guarantee is like 60 less pulls compared to like Hoyoverse or maybe even Wuthering Waves. But you can watch my videos on that if you want more clarification. But let's not waste too much time on just the launch version. Now we get into chapter 2 of the story, which is like 1.1 or like 1.2. So 1.1, there has like new updates to Wuling. There was Tong Tong, a really popular character that really helped with the popularity of the game. Then it was Rosie. She's also quite popular, but I wouldn't say like too popular. Her story quest is a bit undercooked, but it is still serviceable. Rosie kind of makes up for it for her gameplay. Her like QTE is very like special. And she's quite meta. A lot of people like to use her. This game would only face this major problem until like the second half of 1.2 after Zhang Yi releases. And that major problem was that the game had no content. This game, they call it the Great Content Drought. So basically, they released Zhang Yi, which is like the leader of Wuling, almost like an Archon. And they gave her a super long banner. She's basically the one character for that entire version. Usually, each version has like 2 new characters. This time it's only 1. And Zhang Yi is a pretty cool character, but there were some bad parts about her. A lot of people criticize her for being like a Mary Sue. She has no flaws. She's a bit like overhyped. She's overrated. She's over everything. She's boring. And a lot of people say they overestimated her popularity. And then eventually, the character kind of died down from relevancy. And at 1.2, the second half just had like no content. And then everyone was just raging. And then everyone was complaining that the game has nothing. And then at the same time, at that point in time, I think other games like NTE has dropped. Honkai Star Rail Anniversary, Zenless Anniversary, whatever Anniversary was all coming out. And Enfield was left in the dustbin. Even I also took a minor break from Enfield to play some NTE, all because there was just nothing to do in Enfield. Now, Enfield having no content isn't necessarily like a super bad thing. Enfield is special in that the game doesn't demand too much from you. It doesn't have much weekly farming domains or like Divergent Universe Currency War or whatever weekly stuff. It does have like a weekly mission bonus thing, but you just get that automatically. And a lot of content in Enfield are just, you clear it the first time, you just never look at it ever again. Basically, not having much replayability, it kind of works both ways. You don't need to play it again for like rewards. You just play it one time, you get the rewards, and you're done with it for like a month or 2 usually. Such as the other game modes like Edge Space Salvage, Umbral Monument, And this was before Contingency Contract came out. So 1.2 was the lowest point of this game so far. And that's when 1.3 came around, and we had like two major attraction that brought players back. So hope finally came back to the game. And I would say the two major attraction was Camille and also Contingency Contract. So Camille was the first like new limited male 6-star character, and I have to say his design really brought a lot of new players into the game. And this was like few months after the game launched already, which I think was the best move ever by the game developers to release Camille. Mifu is really popular too, but she kind of is like expected. Like she's a waifu, a Chinese waifu character in a gacha game in the Chinese region, so it's not all that surprising. But Camille design honestly can go neck with neck with a lot of the top tier male design characters in this current gacha game landscape. And during the period when Camille was released, I think every gacha game was also releasing a popular male character, except for Wuthering Waves. I think they were releasing Lucy instead. Wuthering Waves should have just dropped David anyway, just to keep up with them. And I definitely can prove it. I made a lot of guides on like Camille, and those got a lot of support and views thanks to y'all. So I definitely know that a lot of people just downloaded Enfield just to play as Camille, and I feel like they really nailed it. Now, other than Camille, there was also a new endgame, which was actually from the original Arknights. It's called Contingency Contract, and that game mode is basically free replayability. In short, you can choose your own difficulty, you can turn things off, and then numbers go up, and then you become very happy. But Contingency Contract, I would say it's not perfect. I think it's really fun for like the first like 2 weeks maybe, and then after that, the game mode is just kind of that. It becomes extremely restrictive at like the highest like number level or whatever, and you can't really play your favorite characters, so you're kind of just forced to play, I don't know, Estella, but like you can also play like Zhang Fangyi and all that, but like you can't really play like Yvonne or Enmin really. So character restrictive kind of like made the game mode not as interesting to me as time goes on. But it did really like help with the content of this game. Everyone was streaming and playing Contingency Contract, so you know that game mode really worked well for the game. And after that, it is 1.4, and here we are with Arcane, with brand new endgame after Contingency Contract, and we won't have to be looking at Estella running around for now. Now we have a much more simpler and like more straightforward endgame mode. It's called Echoes of War. It's just like it gives you some buffs, and then there's some time challenges. A lot of people praise Enfield for like not doing like timer runs or like DPS check like other like Spiral Abyss or that, but in this latest endgame they do include like a bonus goal with the timer, so there's that. I guess they're just trying things out. Maybe people do like having a timer for their endgame runs. So the major selling point of this new version, which is also the half-year anniversary patch, I would say it's the new character Arcane, and maybe also Lino, but Arcane seems to be like the main push. Arcane is like so they drop Arcane, a white hair anime girl, and you know, white hair ponytail, you already know what power level we're talking about. So what did they do with Arcane? They made, well, for one, they made Arcane busted, to make it short. But they also made like Arcane have like two different playstyles with like very like unique mechanic that when she has more of intelligence stats, she becomes DPS. When she has more will stats, she becomes like a support. And then when she's a DPS, her abilities change a bit with their properties. And then when she's a support, she deals more like supportive properties. So I guess they just kind of like solved the problem of like accidentally power creeping previous DPS by just making them be able to do support as well. So Arcane basically, she works with like every team, you know, her abilities look cool. She has really good sound effects. She has a lot of range with her auto attacks. Her ultimate deals 1 billion damage in like one shot. So that makes it really good for like clip farming and all that. Her ultimate deals a lot of damage. Her combo skill is super easy to use and is also like almost like a direct power grab to like Gilberta's battle skill. She's the first nature DPS, and there's not much replacement for her. There's no free-to-play alternative for her. And then when she can't do too much damage anymore, she'll still be able to support other future main DPSs. So Arcane is going to be with us until the end of time, it seems. So Arcane kind of almost become like a borderline must pull at this point, which attracted a lot of, you know, Enfield players back into the game to roll for Arcane. But another major attraction or like really good selling point for this version was the story. Surprisingly. Now in 1.4, the story, if you haven't played it, I won't spoil it too much, but basically there's a new area and then it's mainly about Arcane with her adventure. They go to the new area, they fight some enemies, and then the really like massive popular parts were in like the final boss. The final boss design is crazy. He looks like Sunday. They already like showed this in the live stream. And then the music and all that was really crazy, and a lot of streamers play it and then react to it, and then the game got a lot of attention, and then the game is now pretty popular and relevant again. So they did pretty well. So combined with Arcane character being really popular, I would say initially she's not even that popular, but like now that she's in the spotlight, she's super popular now. And then the Enfield latest story and music and all that, all the streamers giving it attention. Now the game is back into relevancy. And now we'll just have to see how popular Lino is in the second half of 1.4 in Phase 2, which I think it should be coming around like a few days from now. And after that, what is there to look forward to? So in the latest live stream, in the 1.4 live stream, they did like tease what's happening, what's about to come in the future version. They didn't say like when version, but like in the far future, in the foreseeable future, we're going to be getting 3 new characters, and we already have their design out right now. And I already talked about this some time ago, but these are the 3 characters. There's this new male character, long hair, blonde hair. His 3D model is way better looking, so I hope they remaster his 2D art. And also another purple hair girl coming out soon. So if you're a new player and you're thinking about playing Enfield right now, right this instance, you have all these characters to look forward to. Like right now you're playing it, you can pull for Arcane. You could accidentally get Camille and Mifu as well. But after that, you have Lino to look forward to. You have Su, which I predict that their release order is going to be that. It's going to be Su, and then it's going to be the Hong-san Imperial Guard male character. I forgot what his title is, and then the purple hair girl. So what is the moral of the story on this game's evolution? I would say the main takeaway is that the game may have some time when it has some content drought. It may be a bit dry sometime, but this game has the capability of coming back to popular attention with new characters and new endgame mode that definitely resonate with a lot of people. It's just that sometimes it just isn't that much to do, and then some characters are kind of like overhyped, like Zhang Fangyi, which didn't help a lot. And the one good thing about Enfield is that you don't have to always be actively playing it forever. You don't have to be way too active playing this game. It's not like Genshin or Star Rail where you stop playing for a while. You basically can never clear the highest end game. So Enfield is kind of like a lighter version of them. So do I recommend playing Enfield right now, right this instance? I would say, yeah, the story is quite good right now. And like Arcane is a pretty good character to like invest in. And also all the end game is kind of like pretty easy. Contingency contract is over, so you don't have to worry about it anymore. Now it's just some very like basic, straightforward end game. And if you really want a way to decide on whether or not you should be playing this, you want to play this game right now or not, just look at the future release characters and just see whether or not you resonate with those or not, whether or not you want those. And for those of you who have played this game in the launch and then you just kind of like gave up and deleted the game to save yourself for some storage, and you're wondering whether or not it's really worth coming back to this game, I would say you should just try it out right now and just experience Arcane and her story, and then just save some of the pool currency. Wait until they release a character that you like, and then you can just come back. Arcane is a broken unit, so you cannot go wrong with having her. She will probably be very useful for at least like a few months from now. Probably all the way until like the end of this year. And if you're like a veteran and you play this game every single day and you're wondering or not you should keep playing this game, well, I don't really know how to answer that, but if you're a veteran, if you're playing this game every day, then chances are you're probably still going to be playing it. Especially in this like current time with like a lot of like other new gacha games are coming in. I think like Silver Palace is creeping into our horizon. I don't think they have a release date yet, but they did have like a beta test for like a lot of people. But Silver Palace is probably going to be the next big gacha game that is going to be in everyone's mind, and I'm probably going to cover it. Let me know in the comments if you care about just Silver Palace, and we'll tune into that. Another game that is not Hoyoverse and not Wuthering Waves is NTE. So a quick note on NTE. I know I made a few videos on that game previously in this channel, It's just that recently I just don't really have any like videos to make on the game. I am still playing NTE quite regularly. I do the dailies. It just takes like a long time to level up the appraiser level to actually be able to like clear the highest end game. I also just don't really like the latest like event, the 999 nights that like makes you play in like a medieval fantasy. I just think that game mode is just Genshin but worse. And you have to play that game mode to get some XP and also like the main character awakening. Let me know in the comments if you care about NTE and you want to see some more content of it. Alright, enough about NTE. Another reason I made this video is that Genshin is also dropping its Nesnaya region in like the next month. It's coming soon. And I feel like everyone's going to be playing Genshin instead. So 100% we are going to be playing Genshin, but still will be playing Enfield at the same time. And Enfield not having too much to do is kind of a good thing in this case. And also Starry also just dropped their Gilgamesh and Rin, so that is also a factor to consider. So back to Enfield. A final verdict: is Enfield worth playing after 6 months? A short answer is yes. Long answer is this video. Enfield is a game that is just kind of really good at most things, but like not the best at anything. But one thing it's pretty good at is that it doesn't require way too much time, or I don't think it takes that much storage space. And also, like, everything is skippable in Enfield. You can copy factory blueprints, you can skip all the story dialogue. Basically, it doesn't need that much from you. And you can clear all the latest endgame very easily. You can watch my videos for how to do that. And also, pool currency and all that are very generous, all the rewards. And also, they already dropped, like, at least, like, 4 characters that are releasing in order that you can basically see whether or not you like those characters or not. So, if you like the characters, play the game right now. If you don't really care about the characters, then you can don't play the game right now and just wait and see. Maybe the character in the Camille story quest would come out, and that would be amazing. Maybe Artishare would drop in the next version, and that can make the game super popular even more. So let me know in the comments what y'all think, and I'll see y'all next time.